Remember, ego is your sense of place in the universe. When you study nature, some people do not like people like me, seeing that they are the top martial artist and seeking to take their rightful place so they can bring people in the right direction. Some people have an inflated ego and delusions of grandeur. I tell you the truth. It is extremely delusional to tell somebody who has a 4-year, $4,000 martial art challenge, who is a tall, coordinated black person, when blacks have shown extreme physical prowess, as 13% of the nation at that. A brain-searching son. Someone as intense and focused and insightful as I am, that you are not. I have shown more martial arts prowess than any man ever recorded in history. The burden of proof is on them. Show me a man who focuses righteous indignation the way I do, who confronts evil, who faces the enemy. Even if I had not shown you a single sparring match that I've won, drugged and fumed, while the opposition, for the most part, was not. Except for maybe one of them to some degree. I don't know. But his behavior was kind of erratic. Either way, they were aware. Martial art world is a world that keeps their eyes and ears to the street. We see it in the movie Ip Man, a representation of society. When a great martial artist comes from out of town, they know almost immediately, this guy has arrived. We have that Mongolian looking guy, and one of the, I believe it was the first Ip Man. He seeks out the competition. Why do you think he did that? He wanted to establish that he was the best. You think he's the only one? Why did Gracie have his challenge? It was the nature of his challenge. You think he would make the argument that in ancient combat he would outmaneuver me and kill me? You'd be out of your fucking mind to think he would make that argument. To think that I wouldn't use my transferable skills to outmaneuver him and strike him definitively. And that he wouldn't drop like a ton of bricks. You'd be out of your mind to think these people could outsmart the true direction of martial arts in the royal bloodline of the most populated nation in Africa. When it comes to the most physically gifted of the most physically gifted, Igbo is the bell that rings the loudest. That's why Tyson and Ali look like Igbo. That's why Martin Luther King looked like an Igbo. Millions of Igbo slaves taken. I am from the line that conquered them all and said, you, and you, fall in line. Need I say more? My goodness. I could go on and on about who sold who and why. Who fought against everybody and their mom together while they were selling them and why. I could go on and on about how they needed an Arrow alliance to take on my one village. I could go on and on about how they hid from my challenge as well after I had Igbo video after Igbo video. But I don't need to do that because their silence, with all of their arrogance, more than testifies that I am right. I am the man Igbo. Nobody else. And as the man Igbo, I am the fucking man. My goodness. I am the way, the truth, and the lifestyle, right? The image versus the spirit that creates the look that they take away from with drugging. What are the whites and Jews' natural martial arts? And what does it mean for cultivation and continuity with direction? You think Krav Maga is an ancient art? It's the continuity? Did they get it from science or was it conveyed from the spirit realm? I even called them out specifically. Again, I am not racist, But all you people do things in a way that required that I work this angle, and I have done it definitively. Anyone who does not concede it is like a blind man saying, I refuse, I don't see, I don't concede that it's red, that you're wearing red, or you're wearing white, you're wearing yellow. It's like a blind man telling me, I don't concede that that flag is yellow. When there are people that concede and say, yes, that flag is yellow. Should we all wait until we find a way to convince them? Should the most wisest and the best who understand these sacred principles and this process wait until people with brain damage in a coma wake up and magically see that we're right? No. None of you, when you really start pushing that angle to its fish, you're not qualified in these matters. By making my 4-year, $4,000 challenge, I put myself immediately with the elite. Only people in the martial art elite are qualified to address these arguments. And why don't they? I don't Jean-Claude Van Damme, who you think is so great. Jackie Chan. Because they know if they started to scrutinize my view, it would lead to the inevitable. Admit, right? Your mitt, your grip, get a grip. Okay? The form, my goodness, instruction, body structure, they know where it would go. They no more have a chance than a little geek in high school has a chance against a wide receiver in a fist fight if they both hadn't taken martial arts, with all due respect. He would outmaneuver him and he would beat him up. His lack of having natural physical prowess would weigh heavy on him. And why? If you come from a long line of pharaonic martial artists who established their position through martial arts, why wouldn't your body structure reflect that specific kind of warrior? Hor Aha is said to be another name for Narmer, where Aha means fighter. Fighter? Is he depicted with boxing gloves or punching somebody in the face? Or is he depicted with the mace, which is a sign of authority, the royal mace? Look it up. You could say I'm rubbing this in. Do we live in a society where they have conceded my point? Where women are submitting themselves to me? As long as women do not submit, as long as I do not influence reproduction far more than anyone else, it is my sacred duty to continue to explain why I am right. As long as they are trying to play me out as crazy, as long as I'm having trouble seeing because they're drugging me every day, as long as they insist that I am mentally ill, when I am far more insightful and in touch with reality than all the psychiatrists put together, it is my right, and I am right to continue to explain. As long as people can't tell the difference between serving God and serving this world, yes, I should continue. Am I rubbing it in? That's like you're rubbing ointment on a wound. And they say, stop, you're rubbing it in. That's like you're rubbing your wife in bed. And they say you're rubbing it in. Except for it's way worse than that. Seek ye the kingdom of God. Not the tragedy that man is stuck on and the accompanying conformity. The Asians are receptive, and you got to love them for it. You got to love the Buddhists for their receptivity to nature. That part, I can respect. Her dedication to the martial arts, I can respect. By having a form of martial arts that helps me refine my view and showing me in a subtle manner why I'm right, I can respect. Martial arts study animals, people, and life forms in nature, plants, animals, humans. They study these things to refine their view. Animal styles. Why are the animal styles animals? It's their forms. The dragon form. Eagle claw, lion, leopard, tiger, crane, snake, dragon. Okay? The 5 animals of Shaolin Kung Fu. The leopard and the panther connection. The leopard in Asia, the leopard in sub-Saharan Africa, the Afro-Asiatic dialect or language of Hebrew. The Silk Road, exchanging goods and services, religious ideas. People used to compare religious ideas. This is what allowed empires to force people to take on their shape and their martial arts. Who conformed and who didn't? Is the great warrior the one who conformed or the one that resisted? There's degrees. To separate yourself from this is superior than to conform. But to face your enemy is superior to just separating by itself. Horus was the archetype of Pharaoh, not Shu, not Amen. He faced them. You cannot face them by whoring yourself to them. So if you fixate on the kind of literal seeming sound and idea there, you might get faced with, well, it's just a bird. It's just a bird. What is the idea that is hidden there? Seek ye the kingdom of heaven. Is the kingdom of heaven the bird or the spirit that it moves in, the spirit that forged it the way it is to present to you these ideas? You are to learn from the falcon and not the snake. That was what God's lessons. If all the falcons are wiped out, do you then say, well, the snake is one of the next fastest animals in nature, in some form or fashion, striking, right? Should we then learn from the snake? No. You cannot be right with God and learn from anybody after I'm gone. There's no way around it. Even if they stand with me, there's no way around that. Can they bear witness to my greatness? Yes. Can they tell you they are the way, the truth, and the life? No. Can they contradict me? No. How do people get in shape? Horus the Skywalker, submit to judgment and not expect a relationship. So women need to submit to my judgment and not expect a relationship. If not a logical relational choice, aka suitable helper. So even if you are a beautiful woman who thinks you're right with God and so on, you can't expect a relationship. First and foremost, submit to my judgment. How much more if you are out of shape? Let's face it. This is a mind, body, soul argument. That is key to my argument, to my truth. Mind, body, soul, spirit. No ill-gotten gains. If I'm way behind, a million people, can I say to another person, hey, I want you to kill all those people. Okay, I'll be in charge and I'll look after you because I'm the same race as you. Is that? I don't know what to tell you about that one if you don't get that. Now, why would they do that if that wasn't the plan? Why bother? If you're going to kill these people and then this guy's going to treat everybody fairly, why do that if the plan is to treat everybody fairly anyway? If it's not for white supremacy or Jewish supremacy or Asian supremacy or whatever, or house nigger supremacy for that matter, why even bother? Certainly, that is the plan. For whose benefit and why? My goodness. Even if it's just this kind of dumb fucks looking at him saying, oh, he's white and white people are so spiritual. Obviously, this is not the direction of God. White people need to accept that they are not the spiritual order. And I'm the closest that it will ever get. And by denying me, they have cast their race out. Why? Well, from this point on at least. Why? Because they have rejected me. There's the ill-gotten gains. And I'm part white on top of that. If your race is so much your concern, why not settle for a half-white guy? Because you're so racist, even God meeting you halfway is not enough. These people who go on and on about, we'll meet you halfway, right? The Hegelian principle, right? The Jews, the whites, whatever. It's not enough for them. They've testified against themselves. Not only will they not accept God's choice, they won't meet him halfway. You can't make this shit up. So a dumb, suicidal person for worldly reasons, desperate, etc., is not suitable. Insisting I reconsider is not a suitable helper. Who is this woman to say, look, I submitted myself to you? No, you're not doing it for you. You're not doing it for my flesh. You're doing it for the spiritual direction of God. Okay? Can you then say that my senses are off about whether you should be her? It is my sense that has made me Pharaoh. Therefore, my sense in a helper, which is something that means so much, must be respected. So mind-body control means my body and soul, bare minimum requirement. They are trying to get me to settle.